Hello and welcome one and all to one more video with Akshat, and the purpose of making this video is not just to give updates from the sporting world, but I'll not be giving updates for this video, but I'll just be talking about India and New Zealand's ODI series. And being an Indian, it is today it pains me and hurts me to see the kind of condition the Team India is going through, because I just fail to understand what the I apologize for being harsh, but I fail to understand what the hell is the Indian team management and team players doing at this moment. Because if I talk about today's match, where the series decider between India and New Zealand was on the line, and having the series being played in India, 9 out of 10 people, or should I say 9.5 out of 10 people, would have backed India to win the series and bag the honors. But this wasn't the case to be, because if I talk about the scoreboard, it feels like I'm looking at a performance not from an international cricket team, but a domestic or a club team. Sorry to say that from the Indian team, but if I talk about the exact scoreboard in the first innings, New Zealand batted first in the match, and they put up a more than competitive, more than winning, more than challenging total of 337 runs on the board on the loss of 8 wickets on the back of 2 sublime hundreds. And guess what? Who were the players who scored those 200s to propel the Kiwis to a formidable score? They were Daryl Mitchell and Glenn Phillips. Daryl Mitchell, if you remember, had scored a match-winning 100 in the previous ODI as well, but so he was at it again. If I talk about the exact score of these two players, Daryl Mitchell scored 137 runs, and Glenn Phillips scored 106 runs, not 106 runs. And on the back of these two centuries, New Zealand propelled their way to a more than competitive 337 runs for the loss of 8 wickets in their allotted 50 overs. And when it came to the Indian chase or Indian reply, India lost Rohit Sharma quite early, which was a huge setback. He's had a rather hot and cold series from his standards, of course. So India lost Rohit Sharma early, and but but kudos to, even though it's in a losing cause, but kudos and toast to Virat Kohli on reaching yet another ODI 100. He scored a sublime, prolific 124 runs of 108 balls, and but his century alone wasn't enough to take India home, as India fell short by 41 runs, having scored 296 runs all out, and they could not even play their full quota of 50 overs, having fallen 4 overs shy of that mark. So, and what makes and why am I so pissed off? One might think the answer of this question is rather obvious, or rather, it's a no-brainer, because first, India were playing on their home soil, so I would have backed India to back the series, which didn't happen, unfortunately. And even more so, since 2024, if I tell you the last 1.5 years, ever since Gautam Gambhir has taken over the reins as the head coach of the Indian team across formats, India, starting with the against New Zealand especially, if you look at the 2024 November time, when New Zealand toured India for 3 test matches just before India's BGT, they were able to defeat India in the first ever test match. New Zealand Kiwis were able to win the first ever test series on Indian shores in 2024, having having done a prolific 3-0 whitewash. Surprise, ironic, but yet it's true that they were able to not only win a test match, but a test series, and that too very, very convincingly. And the second most, and now if I look at 2026, this is also their first ODI series win against India on Indian soil in the last 7 tours. And before this, they were not able to defeat India and bag an ODI series on Indian soil from the previous 7 tours to India. So that makes it even more surprising and even more congratulations worthy for the Kiwis, and that too because they've not only done so in after 7 tours to India, but they have done so with a relatively much inexperienced and much younger squad. Many of the players of this current squad are young and upcoming, and they were on their first tours to India. So, and they were not, and this Kiwi team was lacking, or you could say they were missing many of the experienced players that we saw in perhaps in the Champions Trophy last year. If you want to name some, you can name Kane Williamson and so on. So they were able to defeat India for the first time in 7 tours, and then that too with a relatively inexperienced squad, which makes it even more heartfelt and heartful and more pleasing for the Kiwis. And as an Indian, I am falling short of words at the moment to describe or to comprehend the kind of situation or kind of mess the Indian team management and Indian players are going through, because you are playing at this international level, you don't expect such kind of results from the home team. And if you want to know it, you can just look at the scoreboard, and if you look at it from the Indian perspective, there were only 2 players. Virat Kohli's 100 runs, that is century, which was a standout. And if you look at, and if your batting team or batting players are second highest score is 52, that too from a bowler who is not Harshit Rana. If you look at him, Harshit Rana is a bowler who can bat. And if in your team Virat Kohli and Harshit Rana are the top 2 highest scorers, then you can just imagine what kind of a situation, what kind of a mess or a collapse that Indian team would have gone through. So it's high time now that Indian team management, the selectors, the coach, and the players start to take responsibility, take onus, and rest and introspect what's going wrong and what needs to be corrected, because you don't want this kind of things to be happening in the next in important matches. For example, the next year in the same time in October, November 2027, there's a World Cup, and imagine if this is the kind of performance India goes into the World Cup with. What kind of a confidence will the players carry, and what kind of a confidence will the coaching, management, and the team environment be in? So it's high time actually that India starts to ponder and plug the holes before it's too late. Because if you don't realize and work on it now, these things can cost you some major events in the near future. What are your thoughts on this performance from the Indian team today? And what are your thoughts in general, and how would you rate India's performance today? Do let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Take care.